Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. What's going on, everybody? Oh my goodness, I changed the camera about a foot and a half. Tell me if you guys like the new camera angle. I don't know. I'm constantly changing things, trying to make a better viewing experience for all of you, and also because I can't not touch things. And if it's like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I'm like, but I could tweak it. We're not supposed to fix things that aren't broke, but what if we tweak them? And we tweak until we break. What's going on, everybody? All right, so here's what I promise you. Here's what I promise you tonight, chat. You guys have posted some videos and stuff in the Discord, which I should probably pull up the Discord and share the link for those who are interested in joining the Discord. And I always forget where to go. There we go. We're going to copy that link and we're going to paste it here. So if you want to share stuff with me, you can join the Discord and you can share stuff and have me react to it. Or just talk to it. I hang out with my community. That's what these live streams are all about. Just hanging out with my community. And it also lets me know what you guys are watching and what is important to you guys. So anyway, I pulled up your stories, the things that you all are interested in. And then also Crimson Desert stuff. Because that game is consuming my mind. I'm not going to lie. I almost was like, hey guys, we're just going to play more Crimson Desert tonight. Even though I promised on Monday that we were absolutely going to just, react to the things that you sent me. I really want to get back to Crimson Desert. I don't have a problem. I don't. It's not a problem. It's only a problem if you think it's a problem. And if you don't think it's a problem, it's not a problem. Oh goodness. Oh, the hair. Ugh. The hair is getting long. Oh, it's almost long enough that I can do like the Geralt, like wolf tail. But it has to be a foot long before I can donate it, chat. And that's why I'm doing it. We're going to grow the hair out. We're going to donate the hair to a good charity. Because if God gave me a good head of hair, might as well donate it. And speaking of God, why don't we take a moment to say a prayer real quick to start the night off. Whatever intentions that you want, I am going to pray for the health of the community, that God provides us all the protection that all of the protection that he wants to bestow upon us in the times and the tribulations that the world is going through. So without any further ado, let's say a quick prayer, and then we're going to get into all of your videos, talking with you guys in the chat, and also Crimson Desert conversation later, because I absolutely love this game. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. All right. Every time I do this, so this is actually a Spanish way. You make the sign of the cross with your thumb and your index finger. And it's actually taught to me by my Spanish teacher when I was very, very young. And every time I do that, I think about her. And so I do hope that some of my prayers go to her anyway. Let's see. I'd love more Crimson Desert, but you got to keep to your promises. Yeah, I do. I promised on Monday that I would react to your videos. Because you guys are my community, you guys are the ones posting. You're like, this is what we want you to see. These are the videos we want you to talk about. So I am doing that. I really want to get back to Crimson Desert though, because I want to get the really cool stuff, and I'm not to the point in the game where I can get really cool stuff. But I did figure out a thing. Redoubt Productions. What's going on, dude? The wig of destiny shall be used in the most noble of causes. Dude, I used to grow, I've grown my hair out before to donate it. And it has to be 12 inches. It's got to be 12 inches. And so I'm probably going to go a little longer than that, because obviously you want to keep, because you know you can't. So it's got to be 12 inches before you can donate, and I think it's only at about 4 right now. So, but it's only been growing since the summer. So realistically, it takes about 2 years to do. But you know what, man? If I can grow my hair out and donate it to somebody who can use it better than I, then you know what? It's a noble cause. So yes, the Wig of Destiny. I will be transferring the power of the Wig of Destiny to. I need to do some research on the charities, but I believe Wigs for Kids is still really good. Locks of Love is horrible. They are not good at all. We did research to them back a while ago and years and years ago, and Locks for Love or Locks of Love or whatever, that they are bad. So you produce Wigs of Destiny. They reproduce. Yes, the Wig of Destiny does reproduce. Yes, it does. I don't know if you knew that. It's the Wig of Destiny, dude. It's like, yes, the Wig of Destiny absolutely reproduces. Would you think it didn't? Come on. You don't know. You don't know. So I have some interesting videos to start off here. Some channels that I've seen before, some that I haven't. We're going to hit the mute buttons while I make these large screen. But let's go over here. And this is Lady Decade. Why? And this one here is why the games industry hates normal people. And she's saying this with bright colored pink hair. So we're going to see how this goes. But ladies and gentlemen, why does the gaming industry hate normal people? Let's get into it.
In the UK, only 10% of game industry CEOs come from a working class background. Compare that to the 1980s when a kid from a council estate in Dundee.
How is the audio, everybody? Let me know how the audio is.
The code Merlin.
Oops, I meant to pause it. That sounds very quiet to me. I wonder if I turned something down. Interesting.
In the UK, only 10% of game industry CEOs come from a working class background.
Yep,
Compare
that
to the 1980s when a kid from a council estate in Dundee or Sunderland could teach themselves to code, mail off the cassette tape, and become a bedroom millionaire. There was no degree, no social DNA, and no elite
audio is good.
connections
Okay, I'm
required,
balanced with the audio coming through.
That window is now
Good, thank you.
firmly closed. Today, the UK games industry has a class ceiling that is getting higher every year. I am Lady Decade, and if you like your gaming industry discussions, from corporate messaging.
What the hell was that? And a lot of this isn't necessary. It's kind of like corporate nepotism. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And a lot of people have been saying that for a lot of years. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Then hit that subscribe button, because today we are talking about how the industry's diversity conversation has managed to exclude the very people it claims most urgently to want to include. This is the story of the white working class, the modern games industry, and the two very different tiers of inclusion that exist. This is the depressing tale of how the white working class got shut out of the UK games industry and why those at the top simply do not care.
All right, lady, I'm here for it. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay. I wasn't sure how I was going to like this, but maybe I do. Who knows? Oh my gosh, this is a 30-minute video. Okay. We got it.
Let me take you back to the 1980s, because I think a lot of people have an incomplete picture of what those years actually looked like in ordinary British homes. My grandmother worked in a factory. She would come home at the end of a long shift and relax in the evenings with her extremely budget ZX81 microcomputer, learning to code and exploring early computer games.
Okay.
She wasn't a tech professional. She had...
So wait a minute. This is like a third-generation gamer. This is like a third-generation female gamer. That is not an attractive... I'm sorry for pausing this on you like this. The camera do what the camera do. This is not an attractive... no, third-generation female gamer. Like, grandma used to do this. That's dope. Dude, that's cool. I like that. Passing down hobbies like that to your kids, no matter what they are. Fishing, hunting, it doesn't matter. I think it's dope.
Since been to university, she was a working-class woman from an ordinary background, doing what hundreds of thousands of ordinary people across this country were doing at the time, teaching themselves the language of a technology that was new and exciting and, crucially, affordable. My husband's grandfather was a train driver and his grandmother was...
Oh, shout out to the railroad. My grandfather worked on the railroad for 40 years. Shout out to them. That's hard work, dude. You want to talk about hard work. Shout out to the guys who worked on the railroad. Grandpa did. I miss talking with Grandpa about the times that he did. I remember hearing him say that back in the day, he had, like, in the middle of a blizzard going through the Colorado mountains, middle of a blizzard, my grandfather would have to get on top of the train cars, and he would have to manually turn the brakes to each of the train cars with, like, so he would have to jump from train car to train car in the middle of a blizzard. And I'm just like, this man's is hard. Like, and I never thought of my grandfather like that, because he was such a sweet man, especially in his golden years. He was such a but dude, like that guy, the descriptions that he gave me of his job, I was like, oh, grandpa worked his ass off.
Was also a factory worker. They bought their son, my husband's uncle, an Amstrad CPC 464 so that he could learn to code, play games, and do his homework on it. These were not unusual families. These were not exceptional circumstances. This was Britain in the 1980s, and what was happening across the country was genuinely remarkable. Both gaming and computing itself had been made cheaper and more affordable for all.
What? Should be able to use the internet, yeah. Yeah. My wife's PC is having problems right now, guys, and so we're actually trying to go through the RMA process to get it fixed. I suspect it's the Intel CPU in it because of problems, and she's just like, hey, can I just turn it on and just use the internet? I'm like, it should be good to do that. Yeah. So as long as this... We're going to get you... Oh, by the way, you guys have to see, if you guys are on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, follow Metalhead Maiden. She has some of the funniest gaming stuff out there. I'm telling you right now, if you guys, I'm telling you, you've got to follow her, because she's getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on her stuff on Facebook because it's funny, and you guys will get it. So that's a shout out for my wife. Am I going to apologize for plugging my wife's, content creation in my stream? Absolutely the fuck not. She's my wife. No, go follow her. Metalhead_Maiden, or just Metalhead Maiden, because I know some places.
Metalhead Maiden on Facebook, Metalhead_Maiden on TikTok.
Metalhead Maiden on Facebook, Metalhead_. Oh yeah, also YouTube as well for reels and shorts, and she does funny shorts. Go watch, check it out.
And speaking of gaming being made cheaper and more affordable, you can use my links to get 23% off a pre-order of Crimson Desert, 32% off Resident Evil Requiem, or how about 88% off Hogwarts Legacy Collection? You can get up to 90% off
oh my gosh,
thousands
I
of
touched a
games,
button
and
and I pulled
each
up a menu.
purchase
No.
supports this channel. Or if you really love what I do, gain access to my behind-the-scenes photos and more by backing the channel over on Patreon. I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. The BBC Computer Literacy Project, which launched in 1982, was rolled out across schools nationwide and created one of the most significant mass computing education programs the world has ever seen.
There was a lot of this going on in America at the time, too. Like, this was a very big thing back then.
65% of secondary schools opted for BBC Micros as a part of the government's Computers in Schools initiative, and the associated television series generated over 300,000 inquiries to the BBC's support service by the middle of 1983 alone. The technology that made these machines affordable was developed here in the United Kingdom, and the result was that there was proportionately more working class people in this country.
Before everybody decided to outsource everything to China.
Using home computers
slave
and
labor.
learning to code than almost anywhere else in the world. The ZX Spectrum did not care about your accent. The Commodore 64 did not ask whether your parents were divorced or what your father did for a living. If the code worked, it worked. It was a rare and very brief moment of pure meritocracy that bypassed the British class system almost entirely. And the games industry that grew out of that moment, Rockstar, DMA Design, Bitmap Brothers,
Oh man, the original Grand Theft Auto. Oh, I remember playing that when I was a kid. I didn't play it very long. I just ran around and just, did dumb stuff. But the top-down Grand Theft Auto. Oh, that was wild.
Studios behind Lemmings, Sensible Soccer, and Grand Theft Auto was built on the talent that it unlocked.
Yep.
So what happened? What happened is that development moved out of the bedroom and into the professionalized corporate space. And as it did,
Of course it did, because they could make money. Why would it not move out of homes and into corporate spaces? Because it could make money. Of course it did.
Spectrum had briefly, almost accidentally flung open, were quite quickly slammed shut again. Today, the UK games industry is increasingly gate-kept by university degrees, and the UKIE Games Industry Census, the most comprehensive and authoritative analysis of the UK games workforce ever conducted, drawing on data from over 3,200 professionals, puts a number on what that actually means in practice.
I feel like this video is covering a lot of information that is already previously known. I'm really hoping that the conclusion is actually something. I hope that she wraps it up in a very nice, because when you get videos like this, one of the most important things to do is you need to construct your premise, which a lot of people may know. That's why they're clicking on the videos. Then you need to have a fantastic narrative to guide people through the information. And then at the end, you slap it off with a nice conclusion that makes people go, oh, and feel like they get that galaxy brain moment. And I'm really hoping that's what she's doing. So far, she's doing a good historical breakdown. This is the narrative. Is she really spinning the narrative, though? And that's because, again, there's always a spin to videos like this. And depending on how they spin it, what they do to spin it, gets you more interested.
Practice. 62% of people working in the UK video games industry come from households where the main earner worked in a managerial or professional role. That is higher than any other creative sector in this country except publishing, and it is comparable to the proportion found in the legal and medical professions, which are not typically celebrated as bastions of open access. A further 81% of the industry is educated to at least undergraduate degree level, rising to 88% for core production roles in art or programming. But by making a university...
A lot of numbers thrown out there, somewhat kind of hard to follow, but I get it.
Degree, the gold standard for entry, the industry did not just raise the bar for skill, it raised the barrier of what I am going to call social DNA. And to understand why that matters more here than it would anywhere else in the world, I need to stop for a moment and explain something specifically to my American viewers, because without...
All right, you called me out. I'm going to turn the captions off because I have a tendency to stop asking me questions. She called us out for us boyos in America. All right, she called us out. She wants to explain something to the American viewers. And I'm going to explain it. Unless you explain it in eagle screeches and the sound of fireworks on 4th of July, we have a hard time understanding. So I'm definitely going to need eagle screeches and 4th of July noises. And I will absolutely understand.
This context, the rest of this video is going to be half as useful as it should be. When I say class to an American audience, what you'd likely picture is a bank balance. The American dream dictates that money is the ultimate equalizer, that if you win the lottery or build a billion-dollar tech startup or get lucky on the stock market, you are upper class, full stop. That is how the mythology works in the United States, and I want to be clear that I understand why it is appealing, because it is built on a genuine and admirable belief in the possibility of reinvention. In Britain, though, money does not buy you a new class. It never has, and it probably never will. In the United Kingdom, class is a form of social DNA. It is the invisible ink on your birth certificate that never quite fades, no matter how much you earn.
Oh, they got that old school snobbery still. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they still turn their noses up at people. Oh, so it's old school snobbery. It's not just like, oh, if I make some money, I'm definitely gonna be, I'm gonna be doing better. Right? Sorry, I gotta adjust the camera just a little bit here. Dude. Oh, that's that old school stuff. It's like, well, where were you born? Okay, I got you.
You can be a millionaire plumber from a council estate, And to the polite middle class, you are still just a white van man with no taste. Conversely, you can be a penniless arts graduate living in a damp bedsit in Hackney, but if you have the right accent and went to the right school, you are firmly and unquestionably middle class, and everyone you...
So you definitely can't talk like this, governor. You see, if you talk like... I think that's a Cockney accent. I don't fucking know. I've never been able to do the proper British accent, but I've always been able to do this one, and it definitely makes me sound like I'm a god snipe out of wherever the fuck this accent comes from. That's wild. Yeah, okay, so they got that old school prejudice. It's not even like... They don't even give a shit about like, oh, like you, oh, you're black or you're white or whatever. No, they got that old school. It's that like, oh, you sound like you're 5 miles down the road. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing here? You don't even sound like us. Oh, that makes me happy. Ooh, they got that old school prejudice.
meet will treat you accordingly. This is how two-tier Britain functions. To understand why the UK games industry is hollowing out in the way that it is, you need to understand the three markers that keep the British working class set in stone, regardless of what they earn or achieve. The first is accent and dialect. Before you have finished your first sentence, a British person has already made a series of subconscious judgments about who you are and where you fit. And just to be clear, it's not just what you say, but the vowels you use, the rhythm of your sentences, the regional...
Okay, but also that is absolutely a thing here in America. That is 1,000% a thing here in America. Now, our dialects span over hundreds of miles, whereas over in the UK, the dialects can actually span over tens of miles. But no, that's 100% a thing that we here in America can understand.
Colour in your voice. In the professional world, a rough regional accent is frequently treated as a proxy for low intelligence or a lack of what people in that world call polish. And the tragedy of that is that the word polish does most of its work without anyone having to say the quiet part out loud. The second is what I would call the broken.
So basically, when you go into an interview and you want to work in one of these companies, you want to be like, I'll use the American version of this. Okay? I'm going to use the American versions of this. When you go into an interview, you want to say, ah, it's nice to sit down with you, John. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for having me in for this interview. I'm very interested in taking this position. I am definitely qualified for the job. First come in and be like, hey, thanks, John. Hey, thank you, John. I definitely, like being here in the room. This is a good room. Thanks for having me. It's, again, I don't know why I tried to do my redneck accent. I went into the Cockney accent. I don't know. But yeah, again, there's a fantastic joke that Gabriel Iglesias does about this exact thing. And he's like, everybody has that interview voice, right? Everybody has their interview voice. When you walk into an interview, you're like, well, sir, if you hire me, I'm definitely going to be the hardest worker that you've ever hired. I'm going to make sure that production is on time and that all of the documents are filed where you can, in an easy to discover manner for you guys if you ever need them. And obviously, I'm going to make sure that I whip these boys into shape. And then, you get out of the interview and it's the guy that, I need a job, man. Fuck, I need this job. Like, again, all of us have this. I'm butchering the Gabriel Iglesias joke, but we all have that interview voice, right?
Family trope. Middle-class Britain prizes stability, lineage, and discretion above almost everything else. When parts of the British press went after Meghan Markle, for example, commentary from the United States and Markle herself framed most of it as being primarily about race. And while that certainly played a role for some, the British establishment's real objection was something far older and more specifically British. They went after where she was from and the fact that her family was messy. In the UK,
yeah, but like also Meghan Markle's a bitch, so we can go after her for whatever reasons we want to. I feel like that's okay. Maybe it's not.
Fractured or complicated family background is one of the most enduring hallmarks of being lower class, and it follows you in ways that are genuinely difficult to explain to someone who did not grow up watching them operate, which is kind of ironic considering how broken and fractured the current royal family of this country actually is. The third marker is social capital, the who you know that opens the doors that talent alone does not open. It is the school you went to and whose number your father has. It is the
Is she trying to pretend that the things that she's saying are uniquely British?
We don't listen to those people.
Huh?
We don't listen to those people.
Are you trying to pretend that it's uniquely British that people judge you based off the school you went to or the job that you're girl, I don't know if you know this. There's a word for this. It's called nepotism. Right? And did she just discover nepotism? I'm sorry. Like, I was sitting there wondering. I was like, all right, she's going to spin this whole narrative. I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. I hear. I think she just discovered nepotism. Which is, God, I hate when videos like this, and I'm like, because I definitely agree with a lot of the things that she's saying, but I'm like, you're literally just describing a thing that everybody knows about already. That is very, like, you're not, she's like, no, this is uniquely British. No, sweetheart, it's not. It's not. It's not uniquely British. It's human.
Internship that materializes through a family connection. It is the name that gets mentioned in the right room at the right time. This is the currency of the modern games industry, and if you were born without access to it, the degree alone is not enough to buy it.
Yeah.
And this
It's called nepotism. It's called nepotism. I swear she just discovered nepotism.
This is precisely why the 1980s bedroom revolution was so miraculous in retrospect, because the ZX Spectrum and the BBC Micro did not ask for any of those three things. They were genuinely indifferent to your background in a way that the professional...
Of course they didn't, because the boomers were old enough at the time, and everybody knows this. Let me say something that might blow this woman's brain real quick. Is that, I don't know if you know this, but once the boomers came into power, after capitalizing on industry and after capitalizing on so many different kinds of industries, whether it be coding, shipping and receiving, construction, steel, all of this stuff, somewhere around the 1990s, they decided, well, we can make a lot more money if we just have little slave children in China make it for us. And they shipped it all overseas. And now you have to compete with a country that traditionally pays their people incredibly low wages, horrible work conditions, and we can't compete with that because people here, it's so funny. People are like, well, how come the quality of living in these countries is going down? I don't know. Maybe because we shipped over our manufacturing and everything that we did to countries that traditionally have low qualities of living. And now, if we want to compete with those countries to produce anything at a cost that the average consumer would be willing to do, we actually need to lower the standards of the people producing here in our countries. This is not a galaxy-brained moment. All right, well, we'll keep going. I'll see how much longer I can make it through this video. We're 10 minutes into a 30-minute video. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Industry that followed them absolutely is not. And the shift from one to the other represents one of the most significant and least discussed class reversals in the history of British culture. As stated, by opting for a university degree as an entry requirement, gaming raised a barrier to social DNA. And
she's discussing something that's happening here in the US as well. I will say this, I'm very, very glad that she is proud of British culture. I think that you should be proud of the culture that you come from. I absolutely love that she's hammering on that point.
The specific consequence of that in a country where our education system is as deeply uneven, as actively underfunded, and as geographically unequal as it is.
You have a public education system in Britain. It's run by the government. The government sells propaganda. It's overfunded. You need to deconstruct that system and get the education back in the homes with mothers and fathers. If you think that education belongs in the hands of government, you were educated by the government.
Right now, where the distance between what is available to a child in central London or Brighton and what is available to a child in Clacton-on-Sea or Blackpool or Burnley is staggering.
So are you saying that people that live in rich areas have more access than people that live in poor areas? I don't know those areas that you just described, but I'm assuming that you have areas that are perceived as more high society, more high class, more hoity-toity, more hippy-dippy, whatever you want to call them. And then you've got the white trash areas. Are you telling me that people that live in those... Man, this girl really thinks that this is just local to the Brits?
Class ceiling that is getting higher, not lower, with every passing year. The white working class boys at the bottom of that particular distribution are, as Parliament's own Education Committee described them, forgotten. They are the lowest performing demographic in the UK education system by almost every meaningful measure. They are the least likely to go to university. They are the least likely to have the networks, the vocabulary, the social capital, or the financial runway to absorb the cost of students.
Yeah, that's basically the world, right? Wait, she really thinks that she's on about something that's just local to Britain? I mean, and I understand that it's an important topic, but she's presenting it like this is a galaxy-brained moment. We've known this shit for 5 to 10 years. Fuck, I've known this shit for a long time. That's why I didn't put my kids in public school.
Debt. And they are the group for whom the bedroom revolution of the 1980s held at the most extraordinary, most democratizing promise, a promise that has been comprehensively withdrawn. You can imagine when we see the industry patting itself on the back for diversity, we have to ask who they are actually letting in, because if they are hiring middle...
Oh, that's easy. White liberal women. If you actually go and you look at all the DEI mandates that have happened over the course of the last decade and a half, it has actually been worse for the minorities they pretend to care about, and it's actually been highly beneficial to how do I say this? White bitchy Karens.
Class people with different skin tones while still excluding the rough kids from the estates. They haven't fixed the problem. They've just redecorated the gate, and that, in my opinion, deserves massive levels of scrutiny. Let us talk about the diversity conversation specifically, because I think the numbers here are genuinely illuminating in ways that do not get discussed nearly enough. The UKIE census tells us that 90% of the UK games industry is white. That is the headline figure that tends to get the most attention, and it is legitimately worth addressing, because the same census tells us that only 10% of directors and CEOs in the industry identify as being from a working class background. That second number, the 10%, tells a very different story to the ones that DEI initiatives in this industry are currently telling, because it means that if you are a white working class teenager from a coastal town in Essex or a mining community in South Wales, you are statistically among the most marginalised people in the entire UK.
That is a fantastic point, depending on... I keep pausing it on a very, very unattractive face for her, and I'm sorry.
Games workforce, more marginalised on the class axis than a middle class person of any ethnicity. And here is the problem. The diversity frameworks currently operating in this industry are, almost without exception, modelled on the American racial categories rather than on British class realities. The terms being used, BIPOC, privilege...
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. Yeah. And what she needs to realize here is the DEI stuff that she's specifically referring to was actually put in place by investment holders, Vanguard, BlackRock, so on and so forth, that if you wanted these absolutely massive corporate shareholders to invest in your company. You actually had to abide by these DEI. Oh gosh, it's Bridge now, but it was something before. But Bridge is absolutely terrible. But because obviously diversity, equity, inclusion. It was the social governance, DEI. Gosh, goodness gracious, I can't remember the acronym anymore. There's too many of them. But basically, these investment firms that are global, these global investment firms came in and decided that this is how you're going to play ball. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to promote. You need to promote Greenpeace bullshit. You need to promote green energy, healthy planet stuff, all these things in order to get a share of our money. You also need to promote DEI in order to get a share of our money. And so a lot of this, I wouldn't necessarily say it's American, because if you actually look at it, it's actually a global cohort of people that came together to decide this. But it definitely did. It does appear that a lot of it started in America. So what she's referring to is it starts with the shareholders and it gets worse with them.
The specific categories and hierarchies imported from a country with a very different history of segregation and a very different understanding of how social disadvantage is distributed are being applied wholesale to a British context that they do not map onto cleanly or honestly. In the United Kingdom, the most significant and most specific...
Okay, so here's where I'm at with this. It's got 7,000 views from 7 days ago. She's got 161,000 subscribers. This didn't even hit 10% of her subscribers. And she is regurgitating a talking point that would have made bumper numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. This is a talking point beat to death. The people who already know it, know it. The people who want to pretend it doesn't exist don't care. She is regurgitating so many talking points that I've heard from much better orators than she over the course of the last decade. And I've gotten away from content like this. And now, again, it was recommended in the Discord, but she's making this point and providing data that all of us already know. What else is new? And you're like, but this is uniquely British. No, sweetheart, it's not. It's not uniquely British. It's not. Right. I feel like this channel is a channel that failed to pivot. Because a lot of stuff like this is just not. A lot of these conversations are just beat to death, and it's not that they're not popular, and it's not that people don't care. They're just beat to death, and people don't want to hear the same talking point that they've heard 7,000 times from tens of creators that I mean, maybe people follow hundreds of creators. I don't know. But from tens to hundreds of creators that they've heard say it better than she has. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know what more to say with that video. It just had lost my interest. It just, sweetheart, you're just saying the same things that everybody's been saying for the last decade. I mean, catch up. Come on. It's not that hard. Oh, goodness. That's very, very bright. Guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. And then we're going to continue checking out some videos here. How long is this one? Because this is a 27-minute, this is a clownfish video. Oh, goodness. And 30-minute long videos. Those are very long to react to. How long is this one here? That is also a 30-minute long video. Oh, my goodness. You guys are recommending very long videos. I might try to react to this one here. This is the police captain who investigated his own robberies. That seems interesting. Give me just a sec. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. And listen to the guns of the IMS Star Shatter. We are back, man. Oh goodness, man. I didn't realize that all these videos were a half an hour long. But let's get into the police captain who investigated his own bank robberies. That's interesting. Let's get to it.
January 25th, 1980. A masked man vaults the counter at a Durban bank, without shouting or wild shots, just a calm voice. Fill it, now. 60 seconds later, he vanishes with $10,000.
Okay.
30 minutes later, a police captain arrives to investigate. He interviews the traumatized teller. ABD promises justice. But he's the robber. The fake beard is in his glove compartment. But here's where it gets insane. He doesn't stop. Over 3 years, he robs 28 banks,
Oh, wow.
then races back to lead the investigations. He plants false leads. He sends his own detectives chasing phantoms. He describes the suspect to sketch artists, himself, and it gets worse.
What?
When they finally catch him, he fakes a back injury, escapes a maximum security prison, and forms a gang with 2 inmates he recruited from the inside. They rob 20 more banks in 5
Most likely AI, but if the narrative is okay, we'll watch. It's AI visuals, but if the narrative is okay, maybe.
months. The government issues shoot-on-sight orders. Interpol launches an international manhunt. And somehow, millions of South Africans start cheering.
All right. Step into more. Let's see here. Road. Let's check out this channel real quick before we go any further on heists and other things I find interesting. It's from Spain. Huh. Might not.
January 25th, 1980. A masked man vaults the country, escapes a maximum security prison, and forms a gang with 2 inmates he recruited from the inside. They rob 20
Hey,
more
what's going on,
banks in
Jonathan
5
Grant?
months. The government issues shoot-on-sight orders. Interpol launches an international manhunt. And somehow, millions of South Africans start cheering for him. He becomes a folk hero, a symbol, a ghost the system couldn't kill. How did one cop turn an entire police force into his cover? And what happened in Florida that ended him? Andre Stander wasn't born a criminal. He was born a prodigy. The son of Major General Frans Stander, one of South Africa's highest-ranking police officials.
They're definitely
Andre
using AI
graduated from the
voice
police academy
for
at
this,
the
but
top
maybe
of
it's
his
because they're
class
from
in
Spain and English is not their
1963.
first language.
By his mid-20s, he'd earned his captain's bars, making him one of the youngest officers ever to hold that rank. Stationed in Johannesburg in the late 1970s, he commanded a robbery investigation unit. He knew the system's every nerve and tendon, shift rotations, radio protocols, surveillance blind spots, average response times to different districts. He helped write some of the procedures himself. And somewhere along the way, he realized these procedures had a flaw shaped exactly like his lunch break. It started in late 1977. Captain Stander assigns his detectives their morning tasks, checks his watch as noon approaches, and announces he's stepping out for lunch. His team doesn't question it. Bosses take long lunches. But Stander isn't heading to a restaurant. He drives to John Smuts Airport, boards a flight to Durban, 500 kilometers away. In the airplane lavatory, he transforms. Cheap wig, fake beard, sunglasses. The disguise itches. The absurdity of a police captain playing dress-up as a crook isn't lost on him. But he proceeds anyway. At 1:15 p.m., Stander walks into a Durban bank with the posture of a man who owns the building. No accomplices, no backup. Just the confidence
I
of
feel like this
someone who
video would
knows
be a lot
exactly
better
how
without
long
these
it takes
visuals. I
police
feel
to
like if they actually used crime scene photos and things of that nature, actual photos of the buildings and stuff like that. This really takes me out of it. It's really hard to watch videos like this, and not to say that they're not, a building. I mean, 23,000 subscribers, obviously more than I have. 136,000 views from over a month ago. I mean, that's absolutely great for them. It really makes me question the validity of all of this when you don't actually see the places, the people, the faces, the pictures of the time, news clippings, articles, things of that nature. This entire story could be bullshit. And as a viewer, it makes me wonder if they're actually doing anything real here, or if they're just selling me a fantasy story. Like if they were showing the newspaper clippings, showing the stuff from the Times, you go down here into the description of the video and you can actually be like, here's where we sourced our information. Any good YouTube video that's like, hey, if you want to check this out for yourself, here's where we got all the sources from. They do that. This is just timestamps, and it's just like, hey, if you knew every blind spot in the system, like it makes it hard. I'm not saying that this isn't a real story, but what I'm saying is I don't know. Yeah, probably better as TikToks and shorts. Yeah, I would agree, man. I just so for instance, I'm only listening, I'm driving. I think the script is also AI. It's really hard, man. It's really hard to tell. Like, so one of my favorite channels here, let's just let me do this here. They haven't uploaded in a while, supposedly they're working on, but let me I want to show you guys just a quick oh wait, no, I gotta go to the YouTube search bar, not that bar. Okay, so so we're gonna go with Magnates Media, and let's go with Rockefeller, because the Magnates Media Rockefeller video is just absolutely incredible. So
there was a time when anyone would tremble upon hearing the name John D. Rockefeller. Not only was he the world's first billionaire, he's one of the richest people in history.
See, and all of these are literal actual pictures that they literally cropped out, cut, and then edited into this. Look,
His empire,
look at how
Standard
different
Oil,
this
became the
looks.
most dominant monopoly in the world by brutally crushing competitors, taking control of multiple industries, bribing the government into submission, and treating
See, and again, Standard Oil, the actual logo.
business as if it was war. Because of his ruthless business practices and
Again.
secretive deals, Rockefeller made many enemies. His career is filled with bitter rivalries, like with
Actual photos that literally, and they've shown videos of their editors and how they actually make the photos kind of come to life like this.
Andrew Carnegie, and even ferocious battles against US presidents. But before he was the titan of the oil industry, Rockefeller was at the very bottom of society. His story is one of only a handful of cases where someone manages to rise from the depth of poverty to the absolute peak of wealth and power. Rockefeller's story is at times inspiring, and at times
This motherfucker was
chilling.
ruthless,
It's an
by the way.
example of what happens when
If you guys want to make billions in this world, you need to be ruthless. You need to be ruthless. But this video, compared to the last video that we were watching,
Police captain playing dress
like,
up as
look
a
at the
crook
difference.
isn't lost on him.
It's just the tone is different. The voice is different. The imagery is different. Like, this is why I'm just sitting here like I can't. It's hard to look at these videos and like get into them, because you just get a vibe, man. I hate saying that, but that's the colloquial term. But you just shut up, woman. What? I shut up, woman. I'm gonna throw stuff at you. Listen, bitch. Anyway, but no, it's like videos like this. I love documentary channels like that that do an absolutely fantastic job of discussing things. But this is just not it. Again, if that's their shtick and that's what they want to go for, but like, let's see, it's like the Last Supper. John Dillinger. Last Supper, John Dillinger. So this guy here, he covers, this is one of my favorite channels on YouTube. I love watching this.
He smiled for the
Mob
cameras.
Boss.
He flirted with the reporters. He robbed banks in broad
Look.
daylight and shook hands with the bystanders. For a brief moment
This right here.
in American history,
If I'm watching,
John
if
Dillinger
I'm
wasn't just the
watching
most wanted
a
man in
documentary,
America,
a
he was
breakdown,
unstoppable. He walked through
this guy went,
crowds, smiled
sourced
at
actual crime
strangers,
scene photos,
and
sourced
posed for
actual pictures of the guy,
photographs without a care in the
sourced
world, whilst being the
all
most
of this, put this
wanted
together.
man in 5 states. He broke out of jail twice using nothing
He's so
more than
good.
a piece of wood carved into a pistol.
This
and
right
publicly
here tells me it's not AI, because AI is not going to source all of this stuff. I also posted a video on Discord last week. Was that the clownfish video? Was that the clownfish video, Jonathan Grant? Because I was looking at that one. That one's like a half hour long. It is a very, very long video. I can give a little bit of time on it. Yeah, okay, it is the clownfish video. So let's check out the clownfish video right here. Pixar Boss, our movies are not your therapy sessions. I've seen a lot of clownfish. I used to actually save clownfish videos for my drive into work in the morning because I actually found them really good as like a morning show. But yeah, let's check out the clownfish video.
We're making a movie, not therapy, according to Pixar boss Pete Docter. This is like a huge deal. Pete Docter had an interview in the Wall Street Journal, and they were talking about the future of the company. And I have to wonder if they weren't thinking, hey, Hoppers might not do too great this weekend. We better preemptively tell people that we're changing things over at Pixar. But to have him come out and say what we actually have been saying for years.
Quiet part out loud.
He said the quiet part out loud. We've said pretty much the exact same thing. He said, in regards to Elio, they were going to make Elio gay, and it was going to have all kinds of gay themes, and they decided to change that. He said, we're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy. This is coming from the head of Pixar.
Yes, I love it. That's what we've been saying. It's like these are their like multi-million-dollar therapy sessions, and that's why these movies are failing. And now the guy is in charge of Pixar, if you're watching, hello, says the same thing we've been telling you.
I mean, CEOs and stuff have been coming out and saying a lot of this stuff. What article were they reading from here? Pixar boss, fans, Elio, original gay character was cut. Make movie, not therapy sessions.
They were going to make Elio gay, and it was going to have all kinds of gay themes, and they decided to change that. He said, we're making a movie, not...
The fact of the matter is, the gay stuff is an incredibly small portion of the population. An incredibly small portion of the population is actually gay, is actually trans, is actually whatever. Most people don't identify with it. If you want to make money, you make a movie that's going to resonate with people of the majority. It's like, well, we need to make movies that pander to the minorities. That sounds like you're going to lose money. Why? Because it sounds like you're going to fucking lose money.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy. This is coming from the head of Pixar.
Yes, I love it. That's what we've been saying. It's like these are their like multi-million-dollar therapy
Dude, I haven't
sessions.
seen a clownfish
and that's
video
why
in
these movies are failing.
forever.
And now the guy is in charge of Pixar, if you're watching, hello, says the same thing we've been telling you.
And look, we've been talking about this whole era of, I guess people want to call it bean mouth animation or whatever. You know, that's not really. I think that's a overstep, right?
Oversimplification. Yeah.
Oversimplification. But this whole era, this Tumblr era of cartoons, definitely feels like therapy. I mean, going back to Adventure Time, Steven Universe, all these Cartoon Network.
Okay, so here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at with the clownfish video. Jonathan, if you're still here, Jonathan Grant, if you're still here. So here's where I'm at with clownfish. And I'm not sure if you are new to Clownfish TV, if you've recently discovered them. I discovered Clownfish TV many, many, many years ago. probably almost a decade ago, I had been watching Clownfish TV. And what makes it tough for me to watch and react to a lot of these videos is they're saying the same things about these topics that they were a decade ago. So I kind of already know what they're going to say. Now, they were commenting that the woke era, the DEI era, I've been watching them myself for a decade. Okay, cool, awesome. So then you can probably agree they've been saying the same things. Now, one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of channels like this anymore is not because I don't like them anymore, not because I disagree with anymore, but it's like I can't know the information that they're saying harder, right? It's like I already know the information. I generally know what they're going to say about the topic. And I already know what to watch out for, what to keep my kids away from. And I am still very tapped into a lot of this stuff because I have 4 children at home and I need to make sure that they're safe from the craziness of the world, while also still being able to experience the world, which is a fine line to walk as a parent. But for me, when it comes to Clownfish, it's just like, well, the Pixar people are saying, well, we're doing movies with, okay. But they were also saying back in 2022, 2023, Clownfish was saying that all of this stuff is on the decline. And they were right. I was watching them back then. What I find hard when it comes to reacting to videos from like Clownfish TV and things like that, it's like they're saying a lot of the information. One, we already know. And 2, they've indicated before. And for me, oftentimes it feels like I'm watching the same video I've seen from them 1,000 times. And not because, hold on one second. And for those of you who want to know how much of a Clownfish TV fan I am, give me just a sec. Hold on. Okay, so if you're wondering, like, Royce, did you really watch Clownfish TV? I don't think, I think you're just saying this because you just want to sound, no. So I have here in my hands Crimson Wren, right? Crimson Wren, which I actually need to buy their other comic books. And if you open it up, story by Cambria Pratt. And Tom Pratt, though that's Clownfish TV. That's their, and then I have their hardcovers of Shadowbinders 1 and 2, which, by the way, all 3 of these are fantastic. I actually want to buy more of their books. I actually really love their books. I think that they're very kid friendly and stuff like that. And I've read all of them. I think these stories are fantastic. So if you're wondering. Yes. Yeah. Damn, you're a true fan. Yeah. So if you're wondering, Royce, did you really watch Clownfish? Yeah, I did. And I supported them with my money. And money got really tight. And I was trying to buy a lot of other books at the time. And they're like, I missed Crimson Wren 2. I need to be able to go and find the rest of their books. But yes, I've actually even tried to reach out to Neon when I was on Twitter to try to get him on the Friday night show. So when I say that I've watched Clownfish TV for years, I mean, like, I legitimately have watched them for years. Like, these, I am a fan of theirs. I think that I actually really, the Crimson Wren book is fantastic. They modeled it after the Goonies. These are good books. Like, these are fantastic books. If you can find a way to buy these and read these and give them to some kids that you know that are just looking for a happy, fun, good adventure, I love it. They're great. Yeah. So when I say to you that I have seen Clownfish TV talk about this exact same topic time and time and time again, and at some point the repetitiveness of the conversation just kind of gets a little tiring. It's why I feel like the last many live streams where me talking about the issue isn't that the internet isn't good for kids. The issue is that, parents need to be parents over their kids. And that's where the issue lies. Would probably get tiring to you guys after a while. It's like, yes, Royce, we know that parents are the problem. We know that parents need to be good parents for the kids, right? But like, I watched these guys for years. Keep in mind, I started watching a lot of these guys back post The Last Jedi. I don't know, the one that they super cucked Luke Skywalker in. I have watched 5 minutes. I have watched 5 minutes of a Disney produced Star Wars thing ever. And it was in The Mandalorian when they did the CGI Luke Skywalker, and CGI Luke Skywalker came in and killed a bunch of the droids. I have never seen any of the movies. I have my reasons for it. I will never watch any of the movies. And so for me, it's not that like I don't want to react. It's like, it's almost like because I know what Clownfish is going to say, I almost can't react, right? I almost can't react to content creators that I know extremely well. Like, extremely well. Like Lady Decade. Oh, we were watching her videos earlier. I've seen Lady Decade before. I kind of know what she's going to say. And so when I get into these videos, it's like, okay, it's really hard. Look, and it's, again, it's not that like I'm trying to be an asshole to you guys, because I definitely don't want to be an asshole to you guys, but I want you to understand like where I'm coming from and what I'm like, what's going through my head. And it's like, Royce, don't you agree with this? Well, yeah, I have agreed with this stuff. And that's probably why you're here on this channel, right? The first video I saw from them was when a She-Ra reboot was revealed. Oh, that was years later. Even though she looked like a boy based on the promo image. Yeah, that was years later. I had been following them for a hot minute by the time the She-Ra stuff was going on. Yeah. And again, it's, dude, I've watched Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers. I'm actually acquaintances with Drunk 3PO, who is, by the way, just a fantastic individual. I love him to death. He is a good man. He's just, Drunk 3PO is just a very good man. Stephanie, what is her channel? I know her as Stephanie. I know her by her first name. What's her channel? I haven't watched her in a while. Stephanie, she was on the Geeks and Gamers side. I spoke with her and talked with her. Obviously, I'm friends with people who work at the Rippaverse. I've spoken with Eric July. Like a lot of these people, like if you go through my catalog, and a lot of the live streams I should just put back up, but like so when it comes to like these talking points, it's like, Royce, look at this thing. Look at what these content creators are saying and the stories that are happening. It's like, well, I've seen them talk about this stuff thousands of times. It's why I don't watch Geeks and Gamers anymore. It's why I don't really watch like Shadiverse anymore. And Shad M. Brooks is a friend of mine. Hold on. Where's the soft cover? Okay. You want to know if I follow Shad? And these were actually purchased for me from his from the Kickstarter that was a Kickstarter or whatever they were doing. It was the crowdfund that they were doing. This was purchased for me from a fan of the channel of A Drink with Crazy, and they purchased these for me. And then Shad reached out and said, "Hey, would you actually, do a review?" And so I actually read the comic version here, and like I said again, and it's not that. We both follow all of this. So here's the thing is I don't actually follow a lot of these creators anymore. And it's not because I dislike them. It's because a lot of the things that they have said, I have heard 1,000 times at this point from the group of creators. And it's like, I've talked with Disparu before. I've been on a show with Disparu. I've Literature Devil. I've had him on my show. Lit Dev. He's been on a couple of shows of mine. I freaking love Lit Dev to death. He's super cool. But again, the conversation gets to a point for me where it's like, okay, I can't know the information that these creators are giving to me harder. It's like, know the information harder. And it's very hard to. And so oftentimes, if it's like a creator I'm unfamiliar with, I'm very eager to check them out because I love seeing new things. I am not the type of person who I can eat the same thing every day. Like there are people that, like my kids ask me all the time, like, Dad, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite sandwiches? And they're like, what? What kind of sandwich? It depends on the day. Depends on the day. I am always in the mood for something different. I'm always in the mood to check out something new. It's why when people look at me and they go, no new games are good. They're all just, but I'm like, that's crap. That's a bullshit line. And the only reason that people believe that nothing new in media is coming out that's good is because they've closed themselves off and they're not open to new things. And they're not searching for new things. They're not looking for new things. And so for me, when it comes especially to creators that I know very, very well because I've followed them for a very, very long time, it's hard to react to a lot of these channels because it's like, I know what they're going to say. And so how do I, as a small channel, react in a way that would make you guys kind of like entertained and like want to hang out on the channel more and hang out with me and allow me to provide you guys with a new perspective or a perspective that I didn't even know that I had, you know, because I like conversation, but I also like having new conversation. That's why my buddy and I, we have been, my buddy Matt and I, we've talked very frequently over the last decade, almost every day. And usually because I call him, be scanning papers in at work, reviewing documents and stuff that just doesn't require a shit ton of brain power, but it's very tedious. Call my buddy Matt. And Crimson Desert's new, and it has provided us with a fantastic conversation. Oh, have you checked this out? Have you seen this? Have you seen all that? It's so fantastic. I recommend Mikey No More. He makes really funny documentaries. Mikey No More. You know what, Jonathan Grant? Go post that into the Discord, and I will absolutely check that out. Like, post new things in the Discord. And because I want to know what's on your guys' mind. I want to know what you guys are thinking. And I want to be able to have these conversations with you guys. And I like having new conversations. Now, obviously, if something seriously crazy happens in the world, we can have those conversations. But it's so hard for me to give you guys a genuine reaction to a video when I'm just like, oh, I know what the content creator is going to say before they've even finished making the video. Because I'm a fan of them. As I've said, like these books here, like, again, I am a fan of a lot of the people that you send. So when I say I'm a fan of Clownfish TV, I just ran out of money to buy their next books. That's why I don't have the complete set. Because I ran out of money because times were a little tough. We had several $1,000s of vehicle repairs come up when the next Crimson Ren 2 came out. And if you guys can get me a line on that for a good price, like if somebody's selling Crimson Ren 2 on eBay or something, let me know. Like Shad M. Brooks, I used to go on his Night's Watch channel and talk with him. Like, Shad is an amazing person. Like, again, I know what these guys are going to say, and I know how they're going to say it, and it makes it very, very hard for me to provide a new perspective other than, yeah, I know. And they've known this for a long time. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to ham it up for you guys. I'm not going to ham it up for the camera. And I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, no way. Like the industry's finally starting to realize that pandering. We've known this for years. And if I just sit there and ham it up for you guys, I'm being disingenuous with you. But if I take the time, I think, to have this conversation where, like, guys, I've been a fan of the channels that you're sending me for a long time. And guess what? I know what they're going to say. And it's not surprising. And for me to get worked up over it, because I've been worked up over it. I have. And at this point, it's like, I can't know the knowledge that they're saying harder. You know? It's like, Daddy, know me harder. I'm not Daddy. I can't know you harder. I can't know the knowledge harder than I already do. I know it's out there. And so I do my best to want to see what's on your guys' brains and stuff like that. But I feel like this is kind of good because it opens up a conversation to be like, what's some of the weird stuff out there? What's about the guy that, who's the guy that did the Clippy meme? I don't watch him. Louis Rossman. I don't watch him almost at all. And people will post some of his videos and I'm just like, what's going on over here? And people will post other videos of places that like I don't pay attention to. And I'm just like, ooh, what's this? What's going on over here? And it's so interesting to see. And again, it's kind of part of the reason that I kind of wanted to diversify away from the geeks and gamers side of the internet is because a lot of that conversation just became stale for me. It's like, because I know this is like, what am I going to say in that area of the internet that hasn't already been said by tens of creators, hundreds of creators, right? In the culture war side of the internet, like we already know all that stuff exists. What am I going to say? And it's why I started branching out and really started talking about, you know, just like locking in on video games in the video game industry, because I have that conversation with my friends. You know, I still watch the G&G and F&T streams to hear them talk, not really for the information, but I do watch the videos. Friday Night Tights, dude, I watched Friday Night Tights was a, like, shut up, Daddy's watching Friday Night Tights moment. Like, that was, so when I moved my family out to Iowa, I still had to work in Colorado for 3 or 4 months. Because the company I was working with was supposed to transfer me. They weren't going to transfer me. Didn't know that until 3 or 4 months later. Dude, I watched Friday Night Tights every single Friday. I shared it with my friends. I fucking loved Friday Night Tights. And I got to a point where I had watched so much Friday Night Tights. It's like I knew what they were going to say before they said it, and it just became less interested. And it didn't become less interesting because they diverted from who they were as content. It became less interesting to me because I basically was I basically was a content glutton for what they did, and I had consumed so much of the content that these guys were doing that I got to a point where I had literally burned myself out on their content. Jonathan Grant, we will definitely check out. Hold me to it Monday night because I'm getting ready to end the stream. But I had consumed so much of the content of these content creators over the years that I just was like, okay, it's time for me to move on. And that is, I guess, one of the negatives of my personality when it comes to trying to be a content creator myself, is I'm always looking for new things. And so when you show up here, you never know what I'm going to talk about. And you might not even be interested in what I'm saying, because you might show up for me being like, hey, fuck the games industry for talking about dumb shit. Oh, hey, by the way, here's some political stuff. Oh, hey, by the way, here's some, like, I can't stand that, you know, this person who's on the political right is saying some dumb shit that they're just stupid about. Because again, I'm politically right. I am actually so far politically right. Like, I'm not even gonna vote. Like, I'm so far politically right. I call Donald Trump left because that's what he is. Right? I call the Republican Party left because they are. And I'm just done voting for these people. But again, for me as a person who's like, I'm constantly looking for that different sandwich to eat when it comes to content.
Fat ass.
Shut up. I like my sandwiches. Say hi to the camera. Oh, the camera saw your butt. Camera's right there.
Like the worst angle ever. So.
Oh, you got to show me your hoodie. Oh, wait. Oh my God. She's double Dragon Ball Z tonight. She's got a Dragon Ball Z hoodie and she's got right?
I hate this inverted crap. Don't.
It's
play.
not inverted. It's not inverted. Because the words are correct. Look, if you do it again, the words are actually showing up left to right the way that they should. It's not mirrored.
Oh, that's the word I was.
Mirrored is retarded.
Well, okay, but like when like I'm staring at that, I feel like it's I don't know, whatever. But I gotta go do check.
It's because you're retarded.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so does that make sense, guys? It's like why I burned myself out on fantastic content creators because I watched so much of their content that I just knew what they were going to say. And I'm constantly in search of new conversations and new things to go on because we know a lot of those conversations. Now, we've been watching those conversations for over a decade, and yeah, it's just kind of where I'm at. It's just where I'm at. I don't know, man. Guys, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for understanding. And it's why I want to see kind of like weird, new videos, things like that. I was going to talk about Crimson Desert tonight. I'm going to go play Crimson Desert. I don't have a lot of time to play Crimson Desert, but I want to. You should play Crimson Desert. It's so good. You can look like a Nazgul from Lord of the Rings? Seriously, look it up. Go Crimson Desert Nazgul armor. Images on Google. People are posting them. You can look like you're from Lord of the Rings in Crimson Desert. You should, dude. It's so good. The game is so good. I fucking hate IGN. I might actually just get the camera going and just do some research, and I might actually put out a video tomorrow slamming IGN for the absolute blatant bullshit they said about Crimson Desert. I fucking can't even with these people. Maybe that's a conversation I can still have. Journos suck. I don't like them. They need to stop touching the things that I love. Journos touch things that I love and it makes me sad. But that's how it be. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to A Drink with Crazy. I will see you guys all on Monday. And as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.